But I'm going to pivot on a point because I want to make this the second half of the podcast. Confidence. Yeah? It's something I've been thinking about confidence quite a lot recently because, as we have spoken about before, it's something that I struggle with a lot. And it's something that I know you have had your own experiences of difficulty with. I know, as I say, this is not foreign territory for you by any means. Confidence is something that I have... Recently, I've had this sort of weird fear that I'm sort of out of tune with things. I should put it into very... I'm going to lay the cards on the table. When I smoke weed, the day afterwards, I can sometimes feel quite sort of almost spaced out.
Yeah.
Yeah? My concern, which has been grounded in total irrationality, and I shall get to this point, is that I'm sort of perpetually living in that state of being, where it's like I'm an arm's length away from everything, and I was worried that maybe it had something to do with my cannabis indulgence. I realised recently that in actual fact, something that has been holding me back with a fervent strength is my absence of confidence. And that absence of confidence had been sort of shape-shifting its way into catastrophizing about everything. It had gone from lack of confidence to abundance of anxiety. And I realised recently that one thing can really flip the script for you on this when it comes to confidence. Of if you all of a sudden sort of... How should I put this without sounding incredibly crude? I decided recently that I have more capacity to change the way that I think than I thought I did. And when it comes to the lack of confidence, taking it from a different perspective of rather than the woe is me, I wish I was more confident than I am, to look at it and go, well, if I'm not confident, then maybe I should start trying to be confident. And what I'm touching on here is confidence is something that is certainly a luxury if you're afforded it, but absolutely something you can work for. And I think people think you're either confident or you're not, and I don't think that's right.
No.
Since I've been trying to be confident, I have felt more confident.
Yeah. And I've seen these videos before of like a guy who'll have a GoPro on and everything, but he'll just go up to like just anyone in the street. He'll literally just go to the city just to literally walk around and just give people compliments, to build confidence in himself, to stop his social anxiety. And on one of these one occasions when he was stopping someone just to give him a compliment, it was a lady, and he got her number.
Good.
Like, if he hadn't have gone to the city that day, been like, obviously like he'd started off with a bit shakiness, a bit of anxiety doing it, because he was out of the rhythm of like doing it, and he felt like he would make a bit of a fool of himself. But after a while doing it, confidence grew. Now I bet you that guy's going around doing it every single fucking day.
If he's not, he's certainly doing a lot better than he did.
Exactly.
It's confidence is, particularly with approaching, confidence is absolutely earned, not given. When it comes, it's breaking the silence. This was something I noticed. It was like a eureka moment for me. I was at a run a few weeks ago now, and there was a girl came and stood next to me, and she had sort of moved into didn't have to move to where she was, and she'd stood next to me. And I thought, normally I'd think, oh, should I say something? But I'm not going to say anything just in case. Might just be me overthinking it. Don't take the risk. And I thought, no, fuck it. What's so bad about saying hi? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. So I did. And when I did that, I thought, fucking hell, it's so much of it is in your head. And when you come out of your head and you break the silence, all of a sudden you're really the landscape is totally different. And I've noticed in my own experiences of this that it's rhythm and consistency, where it's like something that I'm quite happy to spend money on is going out to lunch and things like that, because it gives me an excuse to go and talk to people, and I do. And I'm habitual in going on Sunday when no one was around, and I thought, fuck it, or maybe Saturday. It was FA Cup.
Yep.
Saturday. I thought, fuck it, I'll go up to the pub and get some food, do some work, and it gives me an excuse to talk to a few people, and that really does work. Being in a position where, like this guy, you just put yourself in the room and just talk. Talking is such a simple thing to do, and we catastrophize it.
Yeah, I've done that before, where I've just been so bored, right? Or it'll be after a gym session, for example. I would sometimes just go sit down in the club room, get some food, maybe watch like some useful videos, and then eat my food, and then just talk to people that I work with or people that I just know. There are members there at David Lloyd, and I'll just talk to anyone.
But you'll notice
nice.
that your ability to talk is much better when you've just been talking.
Yeah.
You know, when I find it, when I spend too much time not talking to people, then I find it hard. Then I get worried about whether I've sort of lost my spark somehow. If you just continually repeat the approaching, and it doesn't even have to be women. Now, I'm going to make the point, because I think most of the people watching this will probably be men, and to that tune, most of them will be scared of approaching women. I certainly don't find it particularly comfortable, put it that way.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are in that boat. It doesn't have to be women. And I think I can't remember who it was that said this, but I thought it was absolutely right. Is you want to approach everyone the way that you would approach a woman. Just be friendly. Just talk to anyone. Talk to anyone. I think that's something that I've really tried my best to implement, is just talk. It doesn't have to be for the through road. Yesterday, Sunday, I went to town with my mum, and we went into Waterstones because she needed to go to the toilet, and I went to the lady behind the till and I asked her if she had a book. Now, I just plucked a book that I thought, I was listening to a Douglas Murray podcast not so long before, and he's got a book that's just come out called On Democracies and Death Cults, and I thought, fuck it, I'll go and ask if she's got the book. I didn't want the book. She told me where the book was, and I just walked out of the shop. Because I didn't want the book. I wanted the repetition, the practice of going and talking to someone. And I think something that I've sort of pleasantly fallen out of the back end of on this is realising that it's not actually as hard as you think it is. I spent a long time really being scared of talking to people.
Yeah.
And it's not actually that difficult.
No, it's really not. No, like, obviously, being a personal trainer and everything, I have to talk to people, and I pretty much have to be the one that goes up to the people.
And that helps.
Yeah, and obviously, like, you don't want to feel like intrusive, because you feel like you are intruding on, like, with someone when you notice something wrong with their form, and you, like, I can't see the amount of people that I see in the gym, whether I'm working or not. I see it in the gym and I'll just see their form is just completely wrong, and I'll be like, really want to say something, but I don't want to come across like a knob.
Do you feel like a nuisance? That's what I
Not necessarily a nuisance. I just feel like if I say, like, you're doing great, but that you could change this, I just feel like I'm being a bit of a knobhead.
Yeah, who are you to tell me otherwise?
Yeah. Like it's sort of like, I know that my job is to help people, like, improve their bodies and their form in the gym, etc. But, like, either way, even if people know it's my job, still feel like they're probably going to be thinking, who the fuck is this guy? Who does he think he is?
Why don't you get a whistle and a big PT sign, and if you see someone doing something wrong, blow the whistle, run towards them with a PT sign.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, make it evidently obvious. Start listing your credentials. I am the... And go from there. No, sorry, Karen, I'm being a retard. Go.
Yes. That would just draw more attention to me, though.
Yeah.
I want as little attention in those situations towards me as possible.
Do you know
one person I'm helping?
Do you know what though? I like what you've touched on there, and I want you to burrow into it more. Is you feel like I get this all the time, incessantly. I have to sort of convince myself otherwise on this point. That it's like you're doing a good thing for someone, but then you're worried that you're looking arrogant or pretentious, or you feel it's like, no, I'm just trying to be nice. I'm not trying to.
I'm not trying to be a knobhead or put you down.
But in my head, it's like, oh, there he goes again, being a pretentious knobhead, and it's like, you have to work with that, and it's hard. And I do wonder how many people that is the problem for, where it's not that you're scared of approaching someone, it's that you're scared of the messages that it sends to yourself. Because I notice when I've approached women and endured some serious discomfort at the hands of the conversation substance, you feel shit afterwards. Like there's a part of you that feels great, where it's like, yes, I did the thing that I was scared to do. But if it goes wrong, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It's good to do, even if it does feel wrong, but it feels fucking horrible. It's such an uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
It's good. I don't regret ever doing it, but it does feel shit. Yes. That's a sort of, I suppose that's a barrier as well for people. Is it's like you can't be good at it without being shit at it. You and I are both in the same boat here when it comes to the fact that we have chosen professions where talking is an integral part of it. Mm-hmm. And you'll notice as you run through your PT sort of adventure, you'll get better at doing it. You'll become more and more succinct at approaching, and you'll work out how best to maybe apply touch to someone to make them feel more comfortable, or how you just deal with people, to put it very simply. Yeah. But you will appreciate that when you in 10 years' time looks backwards on you now, that you're worlds ahead. You're much better. Yeah. And as a result of that, you're sort of in acceptance of the fact that, okay, so long as I do the work now, in 10 years' time, I'll be wicked at this, but now I might not be so good at it. Yeah. I think that's a big sticking point for people, where it's like, I really want to be good at this, but in order to do that, I have to be shit at it, and I'm not sure whether I can do that. I think that sticks a lot of people.
Yeah, it really does. They can't. They forget that. They forget that progress does exist. Yeah. You think... They just think they're going to be stuck at square one the entire time.
You think you're at square one, and in 10 years' time you'll be at square 1,000, but fuck me, that's 10 years away. How am I going to get there? And the prospect of it's quite daunting, actually, for people. And I do think this is where it sort of boils back to that point of simplicity, where it's like, if you just talk to people, you will accidentally talk to someone who's, if we put it into the point of relationships, you'll accidentally talk to someone that you like and that you get along with, because you just will. If you make a habit out of it, then, and as well, this is something I've noticed is, as someone who's spent quite a lot of time trying to sort of rescind some of their impulsion or impulsivities, going against that is quite useful for talking to people, where it's like, if you have the thought to talk to someone, do it. Yeah. Just go and do it. And don't allow yourself any time to think about it. I think, do you know, actually, I'm going to give you the stage. What's your sort of experience with this when it comes to approaching people? How do you feel about this?
It's definitely difficult in the beginning.
Are you past the beginning?
Not quite yet, but that's fine.
Yeah, it is fine. But talk to me about what's going on with that.
I'm getting to know more people, definitely, especially in the David Lloyd scene. Definitely getting to know more people. I think the amount of members I probably talk to a day is definitely doubled, which is definitely good. because hopefully they're clients.
Yeah, I mean,
Give you money.
Yeah, I mean, even one step further though, it gives you confidence. It gives you comfort. It means that you might get a positive word of mouth, even if it's not from them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going all right. That's all I can really describe it, really.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
it's going all right.
Yeah, that's sort of the way for a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I think you have breakthroughs when it comes to confidence.
You do.
Where it's like you get to a point where you do something that you think, fuck me, I would not have done that a few months ago. Well done. And then you you almost Black Ops 2 style prestige your way to a new level of comfort.
Yeah.
I think I've certainly experienced more sort of happiness realising that control is something, or confidence rather, is something that you're in control of. I think it's very easy, given the nature of lack of confidence, to hide behind it and think, oh, I'm too insecure to deal with this problem. If you stay there, it's always going to be a problem. Yeah. And it's such a horrible problem as well to be in a place, I mean, to be somewhere where you don't feel as though you can talk because you're so uncomfortable is not fun. And what I will say is, if you're someone who is struggling with approaching people or talking to people, if you don't address it, it does get worse.
Yeah.
Because you get more and more out of practice. So what I'm essentially saying there, in a cutthroat David Goggins-esque way, is if it's a problem, then deal with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you need to change your confidence, or if you're lacking confidence, then your impetus must be placed at the feet of dealing with that, because it's not as hard as we think it is. I think there's a lot of catastrophizing that goes on in this scene. And people then accept that that's happening. It's like, we have actually had similar conversations to this on the sort of laughing and joking about how hard you find talking to women.
Yeah.
Like, we have done this.
Yes, we have.
And people do it. And I get it. But basically, why are you doing that? Well, because I'm quite uncomfortable about the fact that I can't do it, and I'm taking comfort in someone else who can't do it as well. It's not as hard as people think it is, and I speak from a point of total hypocrisy here because I find it hard every day. But I'm sort of voicing the message towards myself for the sake of someone else. It's like, you can do more with this than you think you can.
I'm sort of hoping that personal training will actually sort of help me with this, because I'll have to approach women anyways.
Exactly.
So I'll have to just get used to it at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of hoping that it'll make a difference.
Do you know what? For what it's worth, my ability to talk to strangers has drastically increased since doing the podcast.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's because you have strangers on here all the time.
I have strangers on here quite often, and even if I don't have strangers on here, I'm a stranger to myself sometimes because I'm uncomfortable. So I have to deal with that. And also, it's like phone calls and even emails. Even sending an email to someone that you don't know is surprisingly uncomfortable. You know, it's not horrendous by any means, but reaching out to someone and thinking at some point this person's going to call back to me, that can be a little bit, a little bit uncomfortable.
Dodgy
I think you will absolutely experience positive change when it comes to your social life, your lifestyle, as a result of your PT work.
I hope so. Hopefully it works.
It can't not. Think about it on what we've just said there. That if you get used to it, that's the thing, getting used to it. You're used to it. And as well, you're in a really nice position that you have carved yourself out a really nice position here of your job, as you say, is literally the name of the game, is going and talking to people and approaching people as well. It's not, mine is more sort of guarded than yours is, because I can talk to someone over the phone, then in person, when I have validated that they want to talk to me, whereas you're going straight to the root.
Yep.
Now that's daunting, and I admire you for it, but you'll get better at that. That will be
Yeah.
something that all of a sudden you can start doing that. That very
And at some
comfortably.
point, I'll probably get to a point where I don't even have to go up to people. Because word of mouth will just go round.
Well, yeah, of course it will. Particularly in the space that you're in.
Yeah.
So what's your... I'd like to see, actually, how do you feel about the prospect of being able to go and talk to whoever you want? How does that make you feel?
Makes you free.
Yeah. Yes, that's a very good way of putting it.
Free birds, yeah.
Copyright.
Yeah, no, I feel free. Lots of freedom.
I think that's a really good... I think that's a brilliant way of putting it.
Whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, and not be so... not... That feeling of being constrained by something that you know is actually really fucking stupid is so annoying.
Yeah.
And that's as well what I'd say is you do know that it's stupid. You look and you're like, for fuck's sake, this is not hard. I'm going and talking to a person. I was born to do this.
Yeah.
We are a tribal creature that is meant to go and connect to people.
And I'm still struggling.
And I still can't do it. Yeah, and you find it so hard. No, but you do. You find it so difficult, and that's the annoying part. Is you think this isn't hard. I'm not actually asking much of myself here. And but I do think as well, something that I have certainly got myself stuck in with this is you think that you can't do anything about it. You accept that wrong principle.
Yep.
And then you feel bad about the fact that that is the case. You don't do anything about it because you feel like you can't. And as well, but I'm very, very sort of rough around the edges with this point, but you think you can't do anything about it, but you know that you could. You'll sit on the gym bench, you'll see that there's someone you'd like to talk to, and you won't go and talk to them. And then you'll sit there thinking, all I have to do is stand up and go and walk over there. And you won't, because you'll be too scared, which gets really, really frustrating. I think people... I think just basically to encapsulate, I think so long as you can go and talk to anyone and get comfortable with just talking in general, I think your confidence, be it from the perspective of women or from the perspective of just day-to-day life, will increase quite a lot.
It will. Naturally.
Yeah.
It just all depends on what you do.
That's an inspirational quote. I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna get. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a picture of Sylvester Stallone on a dark washed background and put that over it, and I'm gonna attribute it to him. Right. Well, that puts us at an hour and 20 minutes, which is 2 halves of a podcast, and I can sense that you're starting to drain a little bit. And as I'm
my mind is who knew just podcasting. It's actually quite draining doing this.
Welcome to my world.
How do you manage this? Genuinely.
Still got another 10 hours of editing to do. Yeah. Is it? Do you know what I would say is there was actually. I'm going to get it up quickly just for the sake of the point.
Don't envy you at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
And there's me. I've got to do an overnight of work today, so.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a point
10
up
till 3.
that I really like. I put it on my story. Hang on. Bear with. Whenever I'm under crazy amounts of stress and anxiety from needing to perform, I remember that I asked for this. I'd rather suffer from the pressure than just ignorantly live below my potential. The chaotic mind is worth the exciting life. And that is what I would say, is I would rather experience... I don't actually get that tired doing this, to be honest. I know other people do.
It can be very... I just don't know how to describe it.
You're caught... Well, I suppose you're pulling on a lot of resources to do it. You know, you're thinking. And thinking is tiring.
Yeah, you're thinking hard as well. It's not like a gentle... Like, you get a couple of years to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, if we have the year-long podcast, so might struggle a bit. Might struggle to gain listeners. No, I notice it. There's a difference with these ones as well, where it's like when we do another one with Barney, that is much more relaxed.
Yeah.
In the sense that I'm purposefully pushing you into corners that are making you think. Because I want you to think, and I want to hear what you have to say about it. Whereas with the Doylems philosophy, I'm not so bothered by that, because it's the I actually was speaking to Alex up the club about this yesterday. He said he really enjoyed that video because it made him feel like he was there, and that's exactly what I want to do with those ones. Whereas some of them I want to be, let me make you think about something and take something from it, and other ones I want people to be able to just sit, stick it on, and just feel comfortable. And those ones from both ends are different. You know, when the next time we get Barney in here, I'll crack a few drinks and.
Oh, I could do with a bit.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't because I work later.
Why can't you have a beer?
Well, I've got a train today as well. Oh,
you got work at 9 o'clock.
10 p.m. till 3 a.m.
That's over 10 hours away.
Yeah, to be fair, I could sit outside and have a beer, but
you could have a beverage.
I could have a beer sat outside, couldn't I?
Yeah. Well, in which case, people,
goodbye.